The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the 9th chapter of the Holy Gospel according to Mark.
Glory to you, Lord.
James took Peter, James, and John and led them up a high mountain apart by themselves. And he was transfigured before them, and his clothes became dazzling white, such as no fuller on earth could bleach them. Then Elijah appeared to them along with Moses, and they were conversing with Jesus. Then Peter said to Jesus in reply, "Rabbi, it is good for us that we are here. Let us make 3 tents, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah." He hardly knew what to say. They were so terrified. Then a cloud came, casting a shadow over them. From the cloud came a voice, "This is my beloved Son. Listen to him." Suddenly, looking around, they no longer saw anyone but Jesus alone with them. As they were coming down from the mountain, he charged them not to relate what they had seen to anyone, except when the Son of Man had risen from the dead. So they kept the matter to themselves, questioning what rising from the dead meant. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
St. John Paul II the Great, back in October of 2002, designated the Transfiguration as one of the luminous mysteries. Clearly, he saw this as a defining moment in the church, a defining moment for Peter, James, and John, but also for each one of us. So what happened on that hilltop when Jesus invited Peter, James, and John to come with him? We know that Elijah and Moses appeared and were conversing with Jesus. We can only speculate what that conversation was about. We have to assume that it was Moses saying, "You are the fulfillment of the law, and today I acknowledge it." And Elijah perhaps said, "You are the fulfillment of what the prophets have spoken about down through the centuries." It was clear that this moment of the Transfiguration was to sustain Peter, James, and John in their struggles ultimately to spread the faith after Jesus had risen from the dead. We might well ask, well, why wasn't I invited? If I were there and saw Jesus Christ in dazzling white, if I saw Elijah and Moses, I might have been terrified, but it would have been a defining moment for me. It would have changed my life forever, and it would have sustained me in the faith and would have filled me so that I could evangelize and spread the gospel. Well, I'm here today to tell you, you and I were present on that hilltop that day. I believe that with God, there's no such thing as time. That's a human construct. So that what happened to Jesus that day and to the apostles happens to us today. We've had transfiguration moments. Moments that really have defined why I continue to believe in Jesus the Christ and why I'm sustained on my journey by Jesus Christ. Whatever that moment might have been, we need to remember those transfiguration moments. Maybe it was the birth of your child. Maybe it was some miracle in your life. Maybe it was something that you recognized that somehow God was indeed present. I'd like to think the transfiguration moment happens every time we come up to receive the very body and blood of Christ, and how reverent we ought to receive the body and blood of Christ. That will sustain us if we allow it to sustain us. We might well ask, how many transfiguration moments have I missed in my life because I just wasn't tuned into it at the time? Those transfiguration moments are glimpses of heaven, glimpses of Jesus Christ with us. The apostles, Peter, James, and John, heard something very special come out of the cloud. This is my beloved Son. Listen to him. This is an important transfiguration moment. It happens to be the same words that Mary spoke at the wedding feast of Cana. Do whatever he tells you. In fact, Mother Teresa has told children that she teaches, if you want to see the face of God, hold up your hand, and you will see 5 digits that represent, do whatever he tells you. That's what sustains us. The transfiguration moment and the message that is there all the time we hold up our hand and take a look. Listen to him. Do whatever he tells you. Would that we do listen to the Lord and do whatever he tells you. Then we're on the road to sainthood. One girl was asked in a catechism class one day, what is a saint? The same girl was taken by the stained glass in church. Notice that when the sun came, and even on a cloudy day, and even at night from outside when the lights are on inside, she was drawn to the stained glass. So she said, a saint is a person who lets the light shine through. How profound and theological that answer is. A saint is someone who lets the light shine through, the light being Jesus Christ. Now, we may not make a lot of difference to the terror and the savagery of ISIS. We might not make a lot of difference to the politics as usual that we're unhappy with in Washington, D.C. We might not make a big difference about the terror sometimes on our own streets. But collectively, we can make a huge difference if we just take care of one another. Take care of what we can be responsible for. That's what it means to die to self, taking care of others. I've been here now 6 years, and I haven't heard the secular press of Gresham, the Outlook. I've not heard folks on the street say about those Catholic people at Gresham St. Henry. They haven't said, that I can hear, see how they love one another. Wouldn't that be nice? That's what the Roman pagans said of the Christians in Rome in the 1st and 2nd century. we do have some work to do. We are to be fertile ground so that the Word of God can be planted and nourished, manured, fertilized, so that the plant can sprout and that there can be fruit. That's what we're asked to do. We can do that because we have been on the hilltop. We were present at the Transfiguration. We have had Transfiguration moments. That's why Paul writes in the letter to the Philippians, "It is just where wretched bodies of ours, such as these, that are the material of the Transfiguration." It's something we are very capable of accomplishing. Would that we have been present on the hilltop for the Transfiguration. We would be sustained to this day. And yes, we were there.